Hi guys, welcome to Vote Sports. Today we are talking about Arsenal. They have decided to sell Emile Smith Rowe. Fulham is trying to buy him on a record deal of £35 million. I don't know if it's the right choice for Arsenal to sell him or the wrong, but personally I think it's a wrong choice. But we are going to hear from the guys. My name is Godwin. They are also planning to sell Nelson, and they have almost concluded the deal of Calafiori. So we're going to talk about that on the show. Ateta came out and said that things are happening in backroom stuff. Now there is a deal for him to go to Fulham. What do you make of this deal? Do you think Arsenal is doing it right, or they should? Because if you look at Arsenal's squad, he is a unique midfielder. I don't think they have a midfielder that can do what Emile does on that team. But generally, how do you see this deal?
It's a troubling development for me, if you ask me, because one of the reasons why clubs invest so much in the youth setup is so that you can grow talent, quality talent from the local side without having to spend so much. Now, a lot of money has come into football and clubs can afford to buy players, buy stars. But I feel that a player, just like we saw the same thing happening at Chelsea, where Chalobah is almost being forced out of the club, we are seeing the same thing. Arsenal looking to sell Emile Smith Rowe, and I wonder why Arsenal are letting Smith Rowe go when they need him to double for Odegaard. Martin Odegaard is a credible option to come in as a backup to Odegaard. He's also a credible option if Arsenal choose to move Odegaard to the wing. He comes in, he can play in the center. I feel like it's a wrong move for the club. They should be keeping him. They should be looking to keep him in the side, just like Man City kept Foden. Foden is going to play a lot more time this season, and he's going to be the main man in that midfield as soon as what's his name now, Kevin De Bruyne leaves, which is rumored to do, if not this season, maybe next season. So how is Arsenal going to survive without this young man? It's not like they can't get any other player to come in, but this is a talent they've developed. Ateta has also groomed and helped him up, and I don't know why he's leaving like this.
It's a good deal.
It's a good deal,
English. It's a good deal.
I disagree. How is it
the man has
who?
not played. The man
For
has
who?
not played 30 games for the past 2 years. He's not played up to 30 games for the past 2 years. He's always injured or on the bench. And you're telling me now for himself, meaning Smith Rowe, it's a good deal either ways. It's a win-win for Arsenal. They could raise money to get other players. You could see that the PSR is not pitying anybody. They're not having pity on anybody.
Yeah, but then if you look at it, Arsenal haven't spent crazy money. They can afford to make signings without breaching the PSR. Do you understand me? It's not like they are Everton now or like they are Newcastle that need to sell a star player.
What's Arsenal's income rating?
Okay, if you look at it, I'm thinking about it's more for Emile, because if you look at it, he's looking for a game time. If he stays at Arsenal, it looks like he will not get much game time next day, because it's like between him and Vieira. Because if you are looking at that game, if Ateta wants to introduce someone, probably they are losing a game or they are chasing a game, he probably might maybe introduce Vieira. Now, I think it's more for Emile Smith Rowe. He's looking for game time.
See, I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you want to change the dynamics of the game, Arsenal like to play like the Barcelona we see in the old, where you have Xavi, Iniesta and all of that in midfield, and you have a couple of midfielders or playing as a striker, false nine, and you look like, okay, you want to change the narrative of the game. You don't want to play tiki-taka anymore. At some point let's go back a bit to the old Barcelona, where you have a Ronaldinho come in and you see him dribble past 7-5 defenders and create an assist. You see a Zlatan Ibrahimovic or a Thierry Henry running past midfielders and defenders as well. You say, okay, fine, it's a good deal for Arsenal to keep him, because he would bring that different dynamics to the game. In terms of when everybody is playing a tiki-taka, you saw that happen with the likes of the guy they called Assassin. At some point they were calling him the assassin, Ashavin, because when everybody was passing the ball around, he doesn't have time for that. He hits the shot from 30 miles out and he hits the target. So for Arsenal, I think they lack that talent now, because Smith Rowe can come into that fold, run through the middle of defenders, burst into the scene like that, burst into chaos and make chances happen without the tiki-taka. But for him, it's a good deal. He has to go to Fulham, where he could struggle the midfield with Andres Pereira. But if you say keep him at Arsenal does not need that player right now, because they're struggling with a lot.
I disagree with both of you on 2 points. Number one, you said that Arteta is looking for something from the bench to come into the side and change the dynamics of the game. He looks towards Vieira first. But then if you put it in the right context, everything is right so long as you put it in the right context. In the right context, you have an Odegaard who is playing the 10 up there. You have other players in the midfield, and if Arteta is looking to change the dynamics of the game, he's looking to bring somebody that is not a 10. He's looking to bring in a CM into the mix to change up the game, and then he looks towards Vieira. That is correct. That's the right thing to say. But he's not doing that because he's looking for a 10 or a dynamic player, and he's looking to do that. He's looking to bring in a CM to control the midfield, to hold up the ball, and then marshal passes. But if you are looking to change the game in an attacking dimension, you have to look nowhere else than Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe can come in, and of course, let's not forget about this, that Odegaard is the captain. He's going to play the lion's share of minutes. And I feel that there have been games when Odegaard have been struggling. He wasn't taking off when he should, because those are minutes that Smith Rowe needs to feed off, okay?
We saw when you want to feed him off in those minutes and he's injured.
At Man City, we saw Foden coming off the bench to play games, coming off the game, even starting on the wing, starting in odd position just to get minutes in. It shows that I love this player. He's a good player. He has prospects. We need to keep him in the team.
John,
we need to keep him
you have to understand
and
that.
satisfied.
Okay, you have to understand.
You understand?
If a player doesn't want to play 5-5, for example, now, it's good. He will not start at Arsenal, which is established.
Sure.
Okay. If a player, for example, he's not satisfied to play 5 minutes, or sometimes he will not play a game, for example, will you say that it's wrong for him to stay and fight for that, or probably go and build his career? Probably he might go 1 year and Manchester City will get him.
I get what you're saying, but look at what I'm saying now. Let's not forget that when Odegaard was not fit, or when Odegaard was not playing, he was the one starting alongside these guys in the flanks, in the middle there. So there's that role for him to play there. Before Odegaard came in, when Odegaard
went in to buy Vieira.
When Odegaard came in on loan, Odegaard was playing. When he wasn't playing, Smith Rowe was playing. So there is a role for him in the side. Okay, so him now leaving now, sure, he's done his bit. Maybe he's not going to get an opportunity to start this season, or whatever the issue is. He's leaving, he's going to Fulham, where he's going to get game time. I understand that, but I'm just saying, for the club and for the manager and for the team, it's a bad move. No two ways about it. It's a bad move. No two ways about it.
It's a good move because he's always injured.
It's a bad move because if you look at one season, for crying out loud, you can't judge a player.
Now you want to judge it. I don't know why you use the word. You want to judge a player.
Has he had? How many injuries has Smith Rowe had in his Arsenal career? Let's not forget that he is a player that broke into that side just less than 3 seasons. He broke into that side under 3 seasons under this man, and you have to consider the fact that he is a young lad. If you look at the way what's his name now, Guardiola manages young talents, he doesn't play them as much, and he keeps them fit for a longer period.
Young talent is when you are 19 and 21.
I disagree.
When you are above 22.
Look at how old was Foden 2 years ago when he was playing off the bench. He was 20-something, man.
He was 20.
He was 20.
He was 20. That is why currently you will still put Foden in the list of young players because he is not above 22. Or he's not above 24.
That was back then, man.
Last
season,
20. Last 2 seasons, he was in the youth of young list players. What was he like? He was 21. And when you look at the Premier League, they say Young Player of the Year award does not go to players above 22 in the Premier League. And Foden was there in 2023, which means at 2023, he was around 22 and less. So to tell you that players younger than 20, you can stay on the bench and learn. When you are above 23, you can't sit on the bench and learn.
I think that if you look at what Arsenal is trying to do, if you look at the formation they are playing, probably Rice will start. Odegaard must start. Then Partey is there. They have a whole lot of competition. I think probably both all of them sat down and discussed it. Baba, probably you might not be playing.
Definitely.
They say. Even though I love Smith Rowe because he brings a lot of dimension to Arsenal player, but Arsenal probably might be looking at the money. Who will fetch them more money? Do you understand? Smith Rowe will fetch them more money than Vieira, and probably he likes Vieira more. But if you look at this whole deal now,
let's put this in context now. Play a Declan Rice alongside a Gallagher. You saw that in the Euros 2024. You saw the kind of energy they came to that midfield with. Too much energy. They outran the defense, they outran everybody. But yeah, because Gallagher has less intelligence in terms of pressing the ball forward, he can run into that space. But when he gets to that space, he doesn't know what to do with the ball. That's why. So I won't compare him and Smith Rowe on the same level. I believe Smith is far better than him in that level. But the same energy is what they have. He can burst into that scene, burst into that environment, and still know what to do with the ball. But because you can't trust him to give you 15 straight matches from the bench.
How can you trust him to give you 15 straight matches when he's not getting in the minutes he requires?
It's because the injury. That's what I'm telling you. He plays 4 games, he's back on injury. It's just like Ben Chilwell. Someone says Ben Chilwell was a great player when he was at Leicester City. Let's go back to that record. For the past 4 years in Chelsea and all of that, his record for the past 4 years, Ben Chilwell has recorded 113 different injury cases. You can't trust this player to be your prospect left back all season. Same as Smith Rowe. In the past 2 years, Smith Rowe has recorded at least 7 or 8 setbacks, injury cases. Go check the record. It's there. In the past 1 year, 7 straight. Which means whenever he's coming back from one injury, after 3 games, he's going back for another.
Okay, let's look at it now. Let me ask the final question, John. Do you think that Arsenal should keep him? If you choose Vieira or Emile Smith Rowe, who will you have kept?
I would have kept Smith Rowe. No doubt. That's my choice.
I would agree with John. I would have kept Smith Rowe because of the energy or different dimension it brings to the game. But you need someone that could give you something else. Just like how Odegaard will give you something else. You need someone that will give you something else, so you keep him. But at this point, you don't need someone that will give you something else and you're not sure he's going to play because he might be injured in the next 5 minutes. I think so. Throw him up and keep Vieira.
Let's not forget that a couple of seasons ago, at the first kick of the season, a prominent player for Arsenal was injured. So you can't rule out injuries. You can't rule out
injuries. You're just saying
it's still the risk is definitely there.
Even if you look at Vieira was injured most part of last season. But
yes.
I think what Arsenal is trying to do is that we have 2 players, we have to sell one. Who is going to get us more money? I think Vieira can sit on the bench, but
how much did Arsenal get Vieira for? That's one thing.
If you ask me, looking at the Arsenal side, looking at the players we have in that side, we have players who are on big paychecks who are sitting on that bench. We will not call their names, but they are from Italy and their name starts with J. But they are sitting on that bench. If I ask you now, you tell me that they are,
they are not playing the same position.
Providing leadership.
They are not playing the same position.
They are inspiring the team. They are galvanizing the team. But for crying out loud,
they are not playing on the same position, John.
Yeah, but then if they weren't around, you could bring in an Odegaard back and put in a Smith Rowe, or start with Odegaard and then bring Smith Rowe to accompany Declan in the center, and it still works.
Let's see what happens.
John,
you have one holding guy and 2 attacking forwards.
When Pundit talk analysis like this, as a coach, you close your eye, you imagine
what called you coach for crying out loud.
I will bring my bag. I go wear it next year.
I disagree.
You close your eye, you imagine the lineup on paper. Then imagine what it will be on the field, because what it is on paper is different. Like in the Euros, I still said it, that Portuguese national team on paper are the most dangerous team in the Euro 2024. But on the field, they're not seeing that danger. On paper now, he's saying Declan Rice. Wait, John, you say Declan Rice, Smith Rowe, CMs, get Odegaard in front of them. Now, if you imagine that, it now go chop goals go enter post.
Let's not forget that we just saw the Euros, right?
Yes.
And in the Euros, we saw the Spanish side play a holding midfielder and play 2-10 up front. We've seen it. It works.
Okay, if you look at Arsenal style of play, probably is different. So everybody is looking for. If you look at that position that Smith Rowe have to play, is that Odegaard's position?
Yeah,
that's the problem. So that you can't remove Rice, and Partey probably have to play. So let's see what happens with Emile. Emile is almost concluded. They are actually talking. He didn't play the last game, but let's see what happens. I wish him good luck. I love the player with all my heart, but Arsenal have made a decision and we have to follow on that decision. Now, let's talk about Calafiori, because he is almost concluded to join Arsenal. He's going to join a defense that considered the least goal in the Premier League last season. Now, what do you think, Nonso? What would this guy will bring in this Arsenal play? Where would you think he will play? Because normally he's not going to play 5 or 6, because Gabriel and Saliba will play.
Okay.
Where they have a little bit of a position in that defense is the left back. So bringing him, where do you think he will play, and what do you think that he can bring to Arsenal defense?
We talk about experimenting with tactics. If Guardiola can make Ake play left back, Manuel Akanji play left back and right back, Guardiola play left back, right back, centre half, and everybody is copying from that rule book where the centre halves can play as full backs, then he can come and slot into the left back position and do well. Just like how they converted Ben White from defensive midfield and centre half to right back, and you're converting Kivior to left back. Same thing, and you see a Calafiori who is always fit. I'm saying fine.
And he's smart.
And he's smart as well. He's good on the ball. I say fine, bring him in. He's somebody that can keep onto the ball, hold on to play, pass around with like the other teams. But Arsenal, if you look at Arsenal in recent years, their fullbacks are always progressive. Tenny, they always play like 9 with the winger.
Yeah.
Zinchenko, they play center midfield. Kiwior now, he's too defensive minded to join the progressive attack. Ben White tries going forward, creating chances because he's a midfielder. He tries in that aspect. But what's it called? Calafiori. Can he join the attack when the attack is playing a high press?
If I look some of the things that he played, some of the games he played, he carries the ball well. Probably
carries the ball well, and his last bus stop is defensive midfield. Yeah, can he make the final pass into the final?
What do you think, John?
This is another dimension. Good angle you raised there. My angle is looking at, okay, let's say Arsenal have gotten the ball. They are building from the back like they always do. Fantastic to have him in because he can move with the ball forward. He's good with the ball at his feet. Fantastic, okay? My worry, however, is let's say they've advanced the ball to midfield, advanced it to attack, and now they've lost possession and they play that long ball to a winger. Let's say you are playing somebody like Iwobi down the wings, or you are playing somebody like another fast winger down the wing, and
Sancho.
And let's say you are playing with Sancho down the wing, who is bearing down on defense. Is he fast tracking back? Can he keep up?
The question you ask yourself: can he even go forward enough to start tracking back?
Okay, if you look at, I don't think that's going to be an issue. If you look at what Arsenal played last year, they played more with Zinchenko. Zinchenko will move and attack, and somehow Gabriel covers him. So I don't think probably it might be a problem.
See, the thing is, if he's tracking back to cover spaces, Calafiori has it. If you've seen him play in the Bologna side,
I've seen him play.
He can tackle the ball, he can win the results, he can read passes and intercept. I give him that. When players are good, you give him credit. But where I have problem is, this team is good on an attack. Bros, you're a left back. You're not playing as a centre half. Join the attack. That's why you see Guardiola is trying to convert what's his name now, John Stones to midfield, because whenever there's a progression, John Stones is forgetting himself as a defensive defender. He's always joining the attack line. That's why you see him had alongside Otamendi, he had more goals. John Stones had more goals than Rodri as a midfielder.
If you saw him at Everton, he's always getting in on the goals, and even at Manchester City. But then this is Arsenal. This is not City. Okay, This is Arsenal. This is not City. Is this a right move now for a defender? Let's say a left full back now to be going forward, because
Luke Shaw does it for Man United.
That space is left to be exploited.
I'm naming players. Luke Shaw does it for Man United. Kyle Walker-Peters does it for Southampton. Kyle Walker does it for Man City. Ben Chilwell, as injured as he is, does it for Chelsea. Even with the likes of Cucurella that doesn't know how to really do well with the ball, does it for Chelsea.
But if you look at what Arteta is thinking, for him, Arteta is a coach that plays progressive football. So if he's bringing that guy, so they have something in his mind.
Join the attack.
It depends on what. Okay, look at.
Is yet to be seen. So that is one part he would have to prove us wrong on.
Okay, but Arteta is bringing it's Arteta's guy. He's going to be Arteta's guy. So somehow he's going to play.
Definitely.
So let's see what Arsenal will do with him. But he is a good defender. We saw him play the Heroes, and he played very well for Italy, even though they knocked them out in the quarterfinals. But at the end of the day, that move for him, do you think he's going to starting 11? He's going to come in, and because they have Zinchenko there, Tomiyasu play from that left. You have Tierney is back, but Tierney probably will have to sell him at some point. They have Timber. They have Timber that can play from that left. So do you think that probably he'll sit on the bench and wait for his time, or they will come in and just put him straight in lineup?
9 weeks. based on statistics, just 9 weeks. 9 weeks of 30 minutes playtime every game, 30 minutes for 9 weeks, he would fit in after that. But if he's coming in to start and you say you want instant result, bros, you're wasting your time.
So what do you think, John?
I think he has to earn his place in the side. You don't just come in and you slot into the starting level unless maybe the club is depleted in that position and you're coming in that right. So, barring any of that,
He should earn his place.
He should earn his place, definitely.
Okay, the final news here is Leicester is trying to buy Nelson. Nelson is another player.
Better move.
A better player, another player that is a big player. He is not able to nail that starting level for Arsenal. But if you look at his competition, you're talking about Martinelli, you're talking about Saka, you're talking about Trossard. I don't think he probably has
even Odegaard, because he can even play from the middle.
Even Vieira can actually play from the flank. So, do you think it's a good move for Nelson? He's looking for game times too, just like Smith Rowe is doing.
Man, Driscoll Hall just left.
That space is there.
There's opening everywhere in that pitch. The likes of Maddison, they've not replaced him properly. He's at Tottenham Hotspur. At some point, Wilfred Ndidi might leave.
No,
you can't play in the defensive midfield, definitely. So they will look for a defensive midfielder. But you see that Kelechi Iheanacho as well might leave. So these are openings in the attacking options.
So you can play.
You can play anywhere in that Leicester side. Get enough game time. Prove yourself. Grow your career back. This is a Leicester side that just came back to the Premier League. So they'll be looking to fight. So you now go there with your hunger that, Arsenal did not play me well. I want to prove Arsenal wrong. So go there, fight with the team, maybe qualify for the Champions League.
Oh, wow.
Or qualify for the top 10. No, see.
That's where you get to crazy land now. Are we talking about reality now or la la land? Because you are saying things that's why we have Chelsea fans calling into the show telling you we are winning the title. Come back down to earth, please. This is Leicester. Survive the Premier League this season.
It's not about surviving. Leicester has gotten a proven Premier League coach. That now that they are back, Leicester has gone to Chelsea. Now they got another coach that has been in the Premier League. So it's about top 10, not even surviving the Premier League.
I disagree.
Okay, so what do you think about
top 15?
What do you think about
top 10? Everton might drop.
Me.
See, the person that will be saying top 8 or top 17 is maybe Ipswich Town or maybe Southampton, because they also struggle again.
Okay, what do you think about that deal, Nelson moving to Leicester?
Yeah, it's not one I'm happy to see, but good for him though.
You don't want him to. You want him to stay at Arsenal. You want everybody to stay at Arsenal, Joe. You want Smith Rowe to stay at Arsenal. You want Nelson to stay at Arsenal.
If you're going to win the Premier League from City, you need all the hands you can get.
Buy the hands you can get. Buy those hands.
And if you really don't need to spend money to have these hands, then why are you so eager to get them off the books? You are not in breach of PSR. You are not building a stadium which you need to sell all your star players to fund your transfer. You are not, let me say, short for quality in this position because you have the quality already in-house. So why is Manchester United keeping Sancho, trying to keep all these players when they know they can replace them? You have your players in-house. Keep these players. Add to the team and move forward. That's all I'm saying.
What if Nelson is the one looking for a game time?
Yeah, you can. There are creative ways of creating game time for him. Oh, wow. He mustn't start, but there are creative ways of creating game time.
Send him on loan. Papa don't go loan tire.
I'm not talking about loan either. I'm not talking about loan either. I'm not talking about playing in 5 minutes because he's a good player.
He don't want 10 minutes in 7 games. He don't want 70 minutes in 7 games.
He can have 70 minutes in a couple of games, but they can't be back to back.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't want 7 minutes in 70 games. He wants 70 minutes in 7 games. And Arsenal is not. Arsenal. Let's not say Arsenal now. Arteta is not willing to give him 70 minutes in 7 games.
The only place I disagree is if he doesn't fit the mold of what Arsenal are looking for. Fine. For example, if he doesn't fit the mold, but if he does, then why are you in a hurry to let this man go?
This man bleeds Arsenal in training, and you said he's not in the mold for the club.
I'm saying the only reason
go to Leicester and tell Arsenal that they miss somebody. That's all I have to say.
The only way a club should be letting him go is if he doesn't fit the mold at Arsenal. If he does, you keep him and you make room for him in the side. Simple.
Go to Leicester and tell Arsenal they've
unless Arteta has he doesn't need him. Arteta feels he doesn't need him. Then he can move on and go to elsewhere.
Go to Leicester and show Arsenal that they've missed a gem.
Okay, let's see what happens with Arsenal. Emile Smith Rowe and Nelson and every transfer they are trying to make. This summer is going to be very, very good for everybody because every team is trying to wrestle that league from Manchester City. Arsenal are making their moves. Some clubs are making silent moves. We're going to talk about those silent moves later. But Arsenal is letting go Smith Rowe. They are letting go Nelson. They are bringing in another defender. Let's see how it works. I hope probably next season will be entertaining, fun for everyone. Good luck to Arsenal. Good luck to Emile Smith Rowe. Good luck to everybody at Arsenal. See you guys next time. My name is Godwin.